Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jet Setting Jen here. Today we're talking all about travel insurance. So if you saw the Travel is Short about travel insurance, you already know that we definitely are going to recommend travel insurance to you. But your first question might be, well, Jen, what is travel insurance and what does it even cover? So let me give you some examples that you can take with you to decide if it's right for you. What does it cover and what does it cost? The normal one that we use in my agency is called Allianz Travel Insurance. You can look them up if you have super specific questions on their own website. However, if you're just looking at a general idea of how do they break down the cost and then what does it actually cover, the cost is usually based off of age. So the older you are and the longer your trip or the more expensive your trip, this is going to be a higher cost. So for example, when I travel, if I use Allianz, if I'm gone for a normal 8 to 14 day trip, I can easily be covered for maybe between $100 and $200 because my costs are low. Maybe I use points for my trip, maybe I got a super cheap flight for my trip, and then I calculate anything that's non-refundable. That would be the cost that I'm going to claim for the insurance, and then the insurance itself will cover you, or in this case me, when I'm over there if something happens. A lot of people think that their insurance from the US, if you're an American watching this, will cover you when you go abroad, but it's actually not true. So most insurances will not cover you. So if you're over in Europe and something happens to you, then you have to pay out of pocket if you don't have any kind of insurance. So just definitely keep that in mind if you don't really want to buy travel insurance. Next thing, let's talk coverages. So the minimum amount of coverage that you want to get is most likely a $50,000 policy. Now, some policies like Safety Wing, Travel Nomad, these are also really good companies if you're younger demographic. I would say under 25. This is really great, especially if you're going to be in Europe for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, because they do offer longer plans and they do have a lower price point because most of their people are of a younger demographic. So they're thinking, of course, that you are not going to have as many health problems. So unfortunately, because of that, this lowers your cost. Now, if you are 30 to, I would say, anywhere under 80, I still think Allianz is the best for my normal travelers, like a lot of the clients that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, because a lot of them do have assets, like for example, a house, cars, families, pets, or maybe some nice valuables in their house, and they don't want to be stuck with a potential $5, $10, $15, $20,000 bill if something happens while they're abroad and they need, for example, an emergency surgery, emergency doctor visits, anything like that. That would all be covered by a minimum of a $50, as in $50,000 policy. So the one that I normally get from Allianz is their World Traveler plan, which is, usually their not basic, but their entry level one. And this usually has between a 50 to 100,000 limit on it, which means if you're in the hospital, if you need something immediate while you're abroad, you can go, you can use your travel insurance there. They will pay directly. So this is huge because nothing has to come out of your pocket unless your policy says that. So with specifically Allianz, not that they're any better than anyone else in the sense of the coverage amounts, but they definitely are better in the sense that they will pay the hospital or doctor or whatever as long as you notify them. There's a way that they can pay them directly. So that means no money's coming out of your pocket, it's coming out of their pocket going directly to where it needs to go. So that's super nice if you're in a high stress situation, you have an accident, and you really need to take advantage of the insurance. Now, as far as smaller things like maybe an urgent care visit, a doctor visit, but you haven't slipped or fallen, nothing's broken, maybe food poisoning, something more along the lines of that would also be covered under pretty much any policy because those are not going to be as expensive as, for example, an emergency surgery or a rush to the ER or something like this. And of course, I always tell my clients, like, you never know what will happen, but the idea is that you want to make sure that for if it's just $100 or $200 or $300 and you're paying for a trip that's thousands of dollars, I mean, it doesn't make sense to potentially lose the cost of your trip plus miss out on the trip plus have to pay all those medical bills. It just doesn't make sense. So definitely think about that the next time you guys are thinking about travel insurance for your next trip. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you found some value and had further questions about this video, you can always email me. It's in the description box below, or you can always comment. I do read all my comments. All right. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next Friday.